everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice. My name is Erin, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in to do something for yourself, for your body, and a way to connect to each other, to connect outward, and a way to connect inward. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erin. I'm relatively new on my yoga journey as a teacher, but I'm really excited to share what I've learned so far. And maybe this is an opportunity for those of you who may have never done yoga before or are just looking for another opportunity to continue their practice at home. I know all of us are looking for an opportunity to connect inward, outward, and to each other. And I hope that this might be an opportunity to do that. Before we begin, I also want to recommend that if you are new to yoga, it might be a good idea to check in with whoever your medical professional might be to make sure that this is the right fit for your body and your well-being and general health. Also, I don't have any music on. I want the opportunity for you to put on whatever music at home, and also the opportunity to do this in silence if that's your preference. So as we begin our practice and as we end our practice, there will be a meditation or brief opportunity for relaxation. So at this time, when I mention that you can close your eyes, please feel free to do that and listen to my voice. And I'll be sure to let you know when it's time to open your eyes so that you can receive visual instruction, but I'll do my best to also offer that with my voice and verbally giving you instructions as well. So whenever we're ready, we can find ourselves in a comfortable position. Maybe the position that I'm in right now is comfortable, or maybe we can find ourselves in a seated, easy position, or we can go to my favorite, which is Shavasana or corpse pose, or otherwise known as relaxation pose. So I invite us all to find that position right now. So finding ourselves in a comfortable position on the mat, we can take this opportunity to allow our arms to be wide, our legs to be wide, or let us fall into a position that feels comfortable in this moment. As we gently allow the eyes and the face to be soft, allowing our jaw to relax and our tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. We can begin to deepen our breath and bringing this awareness to our breath. With our eyes closed, we can deeply inhale, filling the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale, letting the chest, ribs, and belly release into the mat. Once again, we'll fill our belly, expanding through the ribs, allowing the chest to rise. And just like emptying a glass of water, we let it all go. As we continue to inhale and exhale, finding that deep release, we can bring some awareness to our body and maybe start to find places where we might be holding a little bit of tension. Wherever that may be, we can breathe into that space. And on each exhale, allow ourselves to let it go. As we continue to deeply inhale and exhale, we can allow ourselves to find a place of calmness, stillness, and peacefulness, and allow our minds to start to go inward. And if during this meditation we find that our mind starts to wander, we're not sure if we're doing it right, know that whatever we're doing is okay, and that we can always return back to our breathing. As we deeply inhale and exhale. As we continue to find that tranquil place of serenity and peacefulness, we can think about setting an intention for our yoga practice. Maybe our intention was simply to try something new. Maybe our intention is to try to stay in the present moment. Or maybe our intention is simply just to be for right now. Whatever your intention is, know that you have support. As we take these last few moments to deeply inhale and exhale, we can start to bring some movement into the body, bringing our awareness to the room. Option to keep the eyes open or closed at this time as we start to wiggle our fingers and toes and maybe rock our head from back and forth. And when we're ready, we'll take our arms up overhead, stretching long, taking the feet and the legs long and deeply inhaling and stretching, and exhaling, releasing to the mat. Let's try that again once more. Inhaling, reaching long on the mat, and once again exhaling, letting it all go. Let's try that one final time. Once again, inhaling and stretching, and maybe dramatically letting go of the air. Excellent. And in our own time and when we feel ready, we'll gently bring our knees into our chest, giving them a squeeze and taking this opportunity to slowly rock back and forth, gently massaging our lower spine. And when we're ready, we can try on our next exhale, sending our left leg long on the mat and bringing our right knee closer into our chest. Once again, inhaling here, and then on our exhale, switching the legs, bringing our left leg in this time. Taking a moment here to match our breath with the movement, allowing ourselves to gently bring some movement and warmth into the body as we continue to inhale and exhale with each movement. Let's try one more time on each side. And once again, when we're ready, we'll gently bring both knees back into the chest, giving them a squeeze. And when we're ready, exhaling, releasing both feet back to the floor with the knees bent. We'll take a moment here to gently windshield wiper our knees from side to side, gently opening up our hips and stretching through our quads. And when we're ready, we'll bring our knees back to that neutral position with our feet flat to the floor. We'll take our hands on either side of us, pressing through the palms. And when we're ready, on our first inhale, we'll prepare for bridge pose, gently bringing our pelvis up to the sky, and exhaling, slowly releasing all the way back down to the mat. Once again, deeply inhaling, we'll bring our belly button up to the sky, and exhaling, slowly releasing one vertebrae at a time. As we continue to move through this posture, matching our breath with the movement, we can make sure we're finding that dynamic tension as we inhale, coming up, engaging our glutes and our thighs, and exhaling, lowering down. If it's in our practice today, we can also try inhaling and bringing our shoulders in towards the center of the mat, clasping our wrists and coming up a little bit higher, and once again exhaling all the way back down. Let's try that one more time again. Inhaling very deeply, bringing the shoulders in, clasping the hands together in a fist, reaching one more time up, And once again, exhaling, letting it all go. Once again, let's find that beautiful counter stretch, bringing the knees into the chest and squeezing them in. Once again, rocking from side to side. Taking a moment here on our next exhale, we'll slowly release the feet back to the floor. And we'll take this opportunity to bring our hands to our head this time. And we're going to do almost just the idea of a crunch. So it's taking a moment here on our next exhale, we'll gently engage our core and allow that engagement to bring our head up and our chest to the sky. And inhaling, return back to the mat. Once again, exhaling, coming up, and inhaling, lowering back down. Just an opportunity to wake up our core, and once again, bring some heat as we continue to warm up the body. Let's do a few more of those. And maybe if it's in our practice, we can stay here, or we can try alternating our elbow to one knee, allowing ourselves to pedal out as we rotate back and forth. Once again, on at each exhale, bringing the knee to the elbow. And when we're ready, once again, hold at the top and exhale all the way back down to the floor. And if we would like, we can take another moment simply to bring our knees back into the chest. And when we're ready, once again, release the feet to the floor and bring our knees over to one side. Bringing our arm up overhead, we'll put some weight into our other hand and slowly come up so that we come into an all fours position. Taking a moment here, we'll line up our wrists with our shoulders, our knees with our hips. And when we're ready, we'll start to warm up our wrists a bit by simply rocking back and forth a little bit. And as we continue to rock back and forth from side to side, we'll gently start to take our fingertips so that they go in a counterclockwise and clockwise position. And when we get to that point that our wrists start to whisper, that's where we stop. Maybe your wrists only move a little bit. Maybe your fingertips turn towards your knees, whatever feels comfortable. And once you've arrived at that point, we're going to do some gentle circles. Gently circling our wrists. And when we're ready, slowly going back around the other side. Excellent. And when we're ready, we'll come back the same way we came, gently once again rocking back and forth and bringing our fingertips so that they come back to the front of the mat. And also just to note, at any time if you feel that your wrists are a little bit more sensitive, you can always try coming up onto the fists at this point in our practice. If we're comfortable on our hands, making sure that the fingertips are nice and wide, almost like starfish, as we prepare for our cat and cow. On our next inhale, slowly bring the crown of the head up, extending the tailbone up, and exhaling, drawing our belly button through, coming into cat. Inhaling again, we come into cow, and exhaling, pulling through, engaging our core into cat. Once again, we always want the breath to be what motivates that movement. Feeling that flow almost as if it's a continuous wave as we continue to flow in between cat and cow. Let's try that one more time. And when we're ready, once again, we'll meet in that neutral position. Playing with our balance, we'll prepare ourselves as we gently lift our right arm off the floor and extend the left leg. And when we're ready, once again, return the right arm to the right hand to the floor and the left knee to the floor. Let's try that again on the other side, extending opposite arm, opposite leg, and bringing it back to the mat. Ideally, we want to match our inhale with that extension and exhale, returning back to the floor. Feeling that dynamic tension as we pull through. Option here also to inhale, bringing the arm and leg up, and exhale, bringing the right elbow to the left knee, extending back up and returning back to the mat. Once again, inhaling here and exhaling, pulling through. Inhaling, coming back up, exhaling, returning to the mat. We'll try that a few more times. Again, reaching through. Let's try that one more time. And when we're ready, we'll meet on all fours. And when we're ready, we'll slowly bring our hips back as we bring ourselves back into child's pose. This is a posture of rest and comfort. So at any time in our practice, you need the opportunity to pause or take rest. Please know that this posture is also always available. If we're having a little bit of discomfort on our knees, we can also come up a little bit higher onto puppy pose, or even stack our head on our fist like this. Otherwise, we'll stay in child's pose for just a moment, maybe releasing the neck, rotating our head back and forth. And in our own time and when we feel ready, we can slowly inhale, coming back up onto all fours, and exhaling, pulling through to a little bit of a baby push-up, and exhaling, coming back. Once again, we'll inhale, come forward, and exhale, come into that mini push-up position. Again, flowing through the movement here, allowing our breath to guide us as we continue to build some heat, flowing in between each posture. Let's try that one more time. Again, inhaling, coming forward, and exhaling, coming down. Inhaling back up, and once again, exhaling back into child's pose. We'll take one more moment again here as we prepare ourselves for our first downward facing dog. Once again, coming up onto the knees into that neutral position on all fours. We'll make sure the fingertips are spread wide, the palm of the hands are planted, and when we're ready, we'll slowly tuck our toes underneath of us and gently bring our heels so that they send backwards towards the mat, lifting our knees and coming down into downward facing dog. Opportunity here to gently pedal out the feet, allowing ourselves to stretch our calf muscles as we settle in here for a moment. When we're ready, we'll slowly tiptoe our hands back so that they come to meet our feet. And we can take this opportunity to enjoy this forward fold. We can have the knees nice and bent here if that's more comfortable, or we can gently try to straighten them, allowing our gravity of our elbows to take us a little bit closer to the mat. As we find ourselves in this position, we can allow our neck and head to relax, maybe saying yes or no. And when we're ready on our next inhale, we'll gently bend the knees, swoop the arms up to the sky, and exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Finding our long edge of the mat, we'll take our toes so that we point them to the corners of the mat, and we'll find a 5-star position. So taking the arms up, keeping the legs wide, we'll inhale deeply here, and exhale, come into moonflowers. Inhaling again as we rise, and exhale, bending down. We'll try that a couple of times, again, reaching through the posture, finding that dynamic place in that extension. Excellent. And when we're ready, we can come back through the top. And let's move into sunflowers. And this time, as we exhale, we'll swoop the arms in front and inhale back up. Beautiful. Let's try that a couple more times. And when we're ready, let's try switching in between. So once again, exhaling, coming through moonflowers, and exhaling, coming through sunflowers. Again, allowing the breath to motivate the movement as we move through each posture. Excellent. Let's do one more of each. Beautiful. And when we're ready, once again, we'll bring the hands to heart center, bring the feet together, and come into that neutral position. Let's try a couple of forward folds. Inhaling the arms up and sweeping them overhead. Exhale, we'll bend the knees, come forward. And again, bending the knees, swooping up. We'll come back through heart center. Excellent. And when we're ready, we'll prepare for our first set of sun salutations. So coming to the top of your mat, I'm going to give a couple of different versions of the sun salutations today. I'll be doing two. And if you have one in your own practice that's your favorite, I invite you to do that now. Otherwise, if you're new, let's try the first one. So in our own time and when we're ready, bringing the hands to heart center, we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, bringing our hands close to the mat or maybe on our shins. Inhaling, looking up halfway with a flat back. We'll exhale, bringing the hands to the mat, bringing the right knee to the floor. Exhaling, bringing the left knee to the floor, and slowly coming back into child's pose. On our next inhale, we'll gently look forward, coming forward into almost a little bit of a push-up position. We'll come into cobra. And once again, exhaling, pushing back, we'll come back down into child's pose. On our next inhale, we'll look forward, bringing our knee into between the hands, and exhaling, bringing our left foot to meet it. We'll inhale halfway and exhale back down. Once again, on our next inhale, we'll bend the knees, rise up, and exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Let's try that again on the other side. Again, inhaling deeply, exhale, coming forward to the mat. Inhaling, looking up halfway, exhaling, this time bringing the left knee to the floor and bringing the right knee to meet it, and exhaling all the way down into child's pose. On our next inhale, looking forward, bending through the elbows, coming down to the mat into cobra, and exhaling, coming back into child's pose. Once again, on our next inhale, we'll bring our left foot in between the hands, bringing our right foot to meet it. And on our next inhale, slowly coming up halfway, exhaling, coming back down to the floor. And in our next inhale, bend the knees, rising up, swooping the arms up overhead. We'll exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Taking a moment here to pause, to check in with the body. We can stay in this version of the sun salutation, or we can try another one. Following me, inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling to prepare. Exhaling, this time bringing the right foot back and bringing the left foot back into plank position. On our next inhale, we'll prepare to exhale, coming forward into lowering down, and then exhaling through to upward facing dog, and exhaling into downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to prepare, we'll come up on the toes, look forward in between the hands, bend the knees, bringing the right foot in between the hands and bringing the left foot to meet it. Inhaling to prepare halfway, and exhale, coming all the way up on our next inhale, and bringing the hands to heart center. Let's try that again on the left side. Inhaling the arms up, exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, looking up halfway, exhaling, bringing the left foot to the back, the right foot to meet it, and inhaling through plank, and exhaling, lowering all the way down. Coming up through upward facing dog, and exhaling back into downward facing dog. Taking a moment here, once again, looking forward in between the hands, bending the knees, bringing the left foot in between the hands, bringing the right foot to meet it. Inhaling, coming up halfway, and exhale, bringing the hands to the floor. Once again, bending the knees, inhaling all the way up, and bringing the hands to heart center. Let's take a moment here to pause, closing our eyes, allowing ourselves to ground ourselves and center. And when we're ready, slowly bringing the hands out to find that mountain pose. Feeling rooted and grounded and powerful. Taking a few moments here. We'll take our hands behind our back, clasping our hands together in a fist, or if we can't do that, maybe grabbing the back of our shirt and allowing ourselves to open up the chest. And when we're ready, on our next inhale, we'll gently fall forward, allowing ourselves to bend and allow the arms to come up overhead. And on our next exhale, slowly come back up and releasing the hands back into mountain pose. Let's try that again. This time, see if you can switch up the hands so that the opposite thumb is over the other hand this time. And once again, reach through, opening the chest as wide as we can, shining the heart forward. And once again, see if we can fall forward, allowing the arms to come back up and over. Taking a moment to feel the top of that stretch. We'll once again come back up and find that mountain position. Beautiful. Once again, let's swoop the arms up overhead on our inhale, and exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale again to prepare, and exhale, let's come all the way down to the mat, kneeling and bringing ourselves all the way into child's pose. Taking a moment here again, maybe to rock our head from side to side to calm down our nervous system. And when we're ready, we'll come back up onto all fours as we prepare for side plank or kneeling side plank. I'm going to demonstrate kneeling side plank first. If the full expression of side plank is in your practice, please go ahead and go for it. So we're going to try kickstanding one leg out to the side. And whatever side is currently kickstanded out, we're going to bring our weight into that hand on that side and into that knee and that leg, and gently send the opposite leg long. And we're going to slowly rotate and open up our body and our chest into that full side plank position. Gazing up, over, and up. And if it's in our practice today, we can maybe try stacking the feet into the full expression of plank. In this side plank position, see if we can continue to reach through the fingertips, allowing our body to shift and challenge itself. And when we're ready, once again, we'll bring that hand back to the floor. Option to go into child's pose or stay in downward facing dog. Allowing ourselves to stretch or make any adjustments that we need. And just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to turn myself around. And once again, we'll try that again on the other side. Once again, you can go straight into side plank, or for kneeling side plank again, this time bring that other leg out into that kickstand position. Again, feeling the gravity as we open up and extend the weight into that side and allow the other arm to come up. Again, gazing to that upper hand and allowing ourselves to find that balance. Trying to create one long line between our bottom arm and our top arm. Again, throughout all of this, allowing ourselves to breathe and find that calm place even as we challenge ourselves. Let's take one final moment again, reaching up, and once again, bringing both hands to the mat. We'll all meet in child's pose. Once again, taking a moment here, calming ourselves after effort. And when we're ready, once again, we'll come up onto all fours as we prepare to come into downward facing dog. And when we're ready, we'll gently tuck the toes underneath, send the heels back, lifting the knees off the mat, and come into that downward dog position. Again, checking in with our neck, allowing the head to be released. We'll prepare ourselves looking forward, bending the knees and coming a bit up on the toes. We'll bring our right foot in between our hands, planting the left foot. We'll come into our first warrior one position. Allowing ourselves to adjust our feet, maybe they want to be longer or closer, and allowing our hips to square with the top corners of our mat, and allowing our shoulders to be down and back. If it's in our practice, we can keep our hands here, or maybe it's more comfortable to put our hands in a prayer position or a cactus, or maybe on your hips. You can choose your own adventure. Again, playing with that balance as we deepen through this posture, maybe bending that front knee a little bit more. And when we're ready on our next inhale, we'll gently open up into our warrior two. Once again, checking in with our shoulders, making sure they're back and down. Trying to create one long line in our arms. Again, checking in with our breath. On our next inhale, let's reach forward, and we're going to flip that palm on the front and exhale into exalted warrior. Feeling that beautiful stretch in our side body, and gazing just over our right elbow. Once again, on our next inhale, we'll gently come back up through that warrior two position, and let's pivot into our side angle pose, bringing our right elbow onto our right knee. Extending and looking just over our left armpit. Feeling that strength in our legs as we continue to root through the floor. And in our next inhale, once again, coming back into that warrior two position, we'll see if we can try to straighten that right leg a little bit. And when we're ready, we'll pivot the arms so that maybe they come to the shin, or maybe our fingertips come into the floor for our triangle pose. Again, playing with our balance. Maybe we need to come in and out of the pose. That's okay. Taking a few moments again to breathe here. And again, reaching through the fingertips again on our next inhale. We'll bend that front knee again and extend back into warrior two. And when we're ready, we'll windmill the hands back down to the floor in between, and we'll bring our right foot back. Opportunity to come into child's pose or to come into downward facing dog. Again, take a few moments in child's pose or downward facing dog to wiggle our hips, maybe adjust our neck and our head. And when we're ready, we'll prepare on the other side. So once again, we'll meet in downward facing dog. And when we're ready, we'll bring ourselves up. So this time we bring our left foot forward and plant the feet so that we come into that warrior one position again. Again, both sides of our body will tell a different story. Feeling again that power as we lengthen through the stretch. And once again, when we're ready, we'll come into that warrior two position, bringing our foot back. I'm going to turn around so that you can see a little bit better. In warrior two. As we do this again, letting go of any judgment or expectation, allowing ourselves to be in the present moment as we continue to explore each posture. And again, on our next inhale, we'll reach forward, flip the palm, and exalt the warrior, sending that arm back, gazing up at the sky, seeing if we can try to not put too much weight into our hand on the opposite side, even the option to take it behind the back if that's more comfortable. And once again, on our next inhale, we'll come back up into warrior two position and flow all the way into side angle pose, reaching that arm up and overhead. Again, continuing to lengthen all the way from the fingertips to the floor. Taking a few more moments here. On our next inhale, once again, we'll reach that arm up into warrior two position and straightening the leg if we can, or keeping it bent, we'll try to come forward into our triangle pose. Maybe bringing the hand to the shin or our fingertips to the floor, gazing up towards our fingertips. Again, rooting all the way through the floor, through our feet, finding that balance as we continue to shift in the posture. And once again, on our next inhale, let's bend that front knee, coming through warrior two. And now we're going to bring the heels a little bit closer together into a straddle position. And we're going to inhale the arms up to the sky and exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips into a straddle position. Taking a moment here to feel that stretch in our hamstrings. Once again, we can take this opportunity to nod the head yes or no, allowing ourselves with each breath to bring ourselves a little bit closer to the floor. We can even take our elbows and allow that as an opportunity to sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. And when we're ready, we'll slowly take ourselves over to our left side and try to maybe bring our hands to our shin or maybe on either side of our foot as we allow ourselves to deepen the stretch on our left side. Once again, continuing to breathe, making sure that as we're inverted, we're still releasing the shoulders and the neck. And when we're ready on our next inhale, we'll slowly creep our hands back through the middle and go back over onto our right side this time. Once again, finding our hands in a position that feels comfortable for today. Knowing that, like all of us, one side of our body tells a different story. And once again, when we're ready on our next inhale, we'll slowly come back through the middle and observe maybe how our body has changed throughout just this short amount of time going through the stretch. Taking one more moment here in the center, we'll gently bend the knees, swoop the arms up, and come back through center. Let's take a moment here, bringing the feet a little bit closer together. We'll come into a chair position, bringing the arms up and releasing down, and sending our hips back, making sure that we're trying to come into a squat position like we're sitting down into a chair, and allowing our feet so that the weight is in our heels and the sides. And as you can see, you should be able to lift your toes off the floor. Let's take one more moment here, rising back up and bringing the hands back through heart center. If we're comfortable here, we'll stay and do that same stretch again in chair pose. If we'd like to try a wider squat, we can inhale the arms up and exhale. This time with the feet wide, we're going to bring ourselves all the way down into a yoga squat, sending the knees wide, allowing ourselves to open up our hips. And again, if we're in chair pose, keeping that weight in the heels and stretching through. Once again, together on our next inhale, we'll gently come back up. And exhale, let's bring the hands to heart center and the feet back together. Let's play with our balance a bit as we prepare for an eagle pose. First, we'll practice the arms. If we don't have as much flexibility in our hands or our arms, we can just give ourselves a big hug, wrapping our left arm under our right. If we want to try our eagle arms, we can bring our left arm under our right and catch the elbows and see if we can bring the hands together. If we're comfortable here, let's try that again. This time spreading the arms wide again. This time we'll take our right foot and root it and plant it and bring our left foot and our knee over. So we cross over, and once again bringing our left arm under our right and finding that full expression of eagle. Again, as our body continues to move and shift in this posture, maybe we need to come in and out of it, that's okay. If it's in your practice, you can even wrap your left foot around your right leg. But every body is different and we embrace it here. Taking one last moment here. Once again, we'll inhale, release the foot, sweep the arms up, and exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Let's try that again on the other side. Once again, rooting through that left leg. We'll prepare the arms opening and stretching. And when we're ready, we'll cross the right leg over the left. And this time bringing our right arm under our left, catching the elbows and bringing the hands together if possible. Once again, our bodies tell a story on each side. Embrace what's happening as we continue to move and shift and root through the floor. Let's take one more moment here, inhaling and exhaling. And once again, when we're ready, we'll inhale, bringing the hands up overhead, and exhaling, bringing the hands through heart center. As we prepare for our lying down postures or supine postures, we'll come once again to the top of our mat, inhaling the arms up and exhaling, folding forward through heart center. Bringing our hands close to our shins or to the mat, we'll inhale, coming up halfway, and exhale, bring the hands to the floor, and bringing our knees to the mat, we'll come all the way down, bringing our arms to our side and laying our cheek on one side of the mat. Taking a moment here to orient ourselves. We'll take a moment and inhale, creating some dynamic tension. We'll stretch the fingertips long, the feet long, into our locust pose, allowing ourselves to feel that tension, bringing our body up and off the mat. And taking one last moment at the top, we'll exhale back all the way to the floor, resting our cheek on the mat. Let's try that again one more time. Inhaling deeply, stretching through, allowing that dynamic tension to pull us a little bit higher. And once again, exhaling, returning all the way back to the floor. Pausing for a moment. Once again, we'll bring our hands in front of us, about under our shoulders, and push ourselves up into a kneeling position. From this kneeling position, we'll take our hands so that they're just on our back pockets here, and release our shoulders back and down as we prepare for camel. Sending our elbows so that they almost are wanting to try to reach each other. We can take our gaze up to the sky and shine our heart up to the sky. Once again, continuing to breathe deeply as we move through this stretch. And if it's in our practice today, we can even try reaching back for our heels and opening up a little bit more. Take one more last moment here. And once again, when we're ready, we'll inhale, slowly come back up. And shifting our feet so that they come to the side, we'll bring ourselves into a seated staff position. Taking the feet long in front of us, we'll take a moment to check in with our posture, aligning our spine. And when we're ready, inhaling the arms up, we'll exhale, bring our arms forward, hinging at the hips, and reaching maybe towards our knees, to our ankles, or maybe even catching our feet. Taking a moment to embrace that wonderful stretch in our hamstrings. Again, taking the opportunity to check in and release our neck and shoulders. And on each inhale and exhale, feeling ourselves coming a little bit closer to our feet. And once again, on our next inhale, we'll slowly roll back up into that staff pose position. Taking a moment here, we'll bring our left knee into our chest and hug it in. And once again, take a moment here to align the spine, feeling very tall, rooting through our hips, feeling that imaginary string pulling us up. And when we're ready, we'll take our arms and we'll take our right arm into our left knee and slowly open up so that we twist over to that left side. Again, allowing each inhale and exhale to bring us a little bit further into that twist. And when we're ready, once again, we'll come out of that stretch, coming back through the other side and doing a gentle counter twist. Once again, we'll come back through center, give that leg a little squeeze in again, lengthening. And once again, we'll send that left foot long on the floor. We'll try that on the other side. Once again, this time bringing the right knee into the chest, lengthening the spine, bringing the crown of the head to the ceiling. And when we're ready, taking our left elbow onto our right knee and twisting and gazing over our right shoulder. Again, seeing how the breath on each inhale and exhale, it can allow us to shift and move ourselves so we deepen a little bit more into that twist. We'll take one more moment here. And when we're ready again, coming back through center, we'll go into that gentle counter twist onto our left side, gazing over that shoulder. Coming back through center, we'll squeeze our knee back into our chest and lengthen it all the way back down. When we're ready, we'll come all the way back to the mat. And this time we'll roll ourselves down. Let's keep our knees bent for right now. As we take this moment to find a figure 4 position. Now, if pigeon is in your practice, I invite you to go there now. Otherwise, I'll invite you to take one of your ankles over to the other knee and gently, if possible, either press your hand away from that knee to extend the stretch, or even try threading your hands in between that knee so that we bring that ankle a little bit closer to the chest. Feeling that stretch all the way through this side in our glute. Taking this opportunity to find that calm place as we gently wind down in our practice. And when we're ready, we'll return that foot to the floor with our ankle still over our other side. We'll increase that twist a little bit more, allowing our knees to slowly wrap and go over so that we open up onto the other side, extending that arm out and gazing over our shoulder. Again, allowing ourselves to see how the breath can change the posture, surrendering a little bit more into that twist. And when we're ready, once again, we'll come back through center and release the foot that is up back onto the floor. Let's try that on the other side this time. Again, taking that ankle over to the other knee. And again, seeing if we can thread our hands in between into that figure 4 position. Again, allowing ourselves to find that calmness and stillness in our breath. And when we're ready, let's take that foot back to the floor, really crossing our knees over and extending the opposite arm open. We'll let gravity take our knees over to that side and open into that twist. Once again, when we're ready, we'll bring ourselves back to center, bringing both feet to the floor. And this time, let's extend all the way back out to where we started in Shavasana, or relaxation pose, or corpse pose. And let's take the opportunity to find a position that feels comfortable. Maybe if you're wanting some extra comfort, you can put a blanket on or something that's warmer as we settle into this pose. And as we take this moment of stillness, we once again return to that 3-part breath, taking this opportunity to deeply inhale, filling the belly, ribs, and chest. And at the top, once again, letting it all go and allowing ourselves to sink deeper and deeper into the mat. Again, finding that deep, calm inhale, and exhaling, letting it all go and surrendering to this moment of peace. Again, if our eyes aren't already closed, I invite you to do that at this time as we continue to find that deep place of calm breath, allowing it to cycle through our body and breathe into all those heavy places where there might be discomfort, whether it be in our physical state, our emotional space, or our spiritual state. We allow the breath to nourish and replenish what we might feel is missing or in a deficit right now. And as we feel this connection to our breath and our body, we can allow this connection to go deeper into our spirit, and meditating how we can find creative ways to connect with one another. So often our mind is a time machine taking us back to the past or racing towards the future, wanting to know what's next. But the one place we can be in the present is when we allow our minds to be in our physical body and staying in the present moment. Giving ourselves permission simply to focus on our breath and just to be. As we take these last few moments of calmness and stillness, we can once again allow ourselves to know that we are okay and that we are loved. And when we're ready, we can start to maybe try wiggling our fingertips and toes, and maybe even start fluttering our eyelids open. And when we're ready, once again, we'll return that stretch that we had at the beginning of our practice, bringing our arms up overhead and extending our feet long on the mat as we inhale, stretching, and exhale, releasing. We'll try that again once more, inhaling deeply, stretching the arms long, pointing the toes, and exhaling, letting it go. One last time, inhaling deeply again, extending the hands up overhead, reaching in our deepest stretch along the body, and dramatically exhale, surrendering back down to the mat. In our own time, we'll take this opportunity to slowly roll over to one side, finding a fetal position, resting our head on our arm. And when we're ready, putting some weight into our hands, we'll bring ourselves up into a comfortable seated position. Once again, allow yourself the opportunity to find a posture where we feel tall, maybe opening the hands on our knees, and allow ourselves this moment to close our eyes. May we be well. May we be healthy. May we have courage and serenity and wisdom. And may we know peace and feel connection. And bringing our hands to heart center, may the light in me honor the light in you. Thank you.